Welcome back to the Pixelist podcast, my friends, the podcast about all the nerdy things we love and enjoy. As always, we're your hosts. That's Blake. I'm Will. And today we're here to talk some more Campaign 4 of Critical Role. Episode 3, titled The Snipping of Shears. But before we dive into that, just a quick little business catch up. I don't know why it's called that, but a quick little business catch up goes great with the corporate mustard. But just how you doing today, my friend? We little hump day get together.
Yeah, it's a little chilly today.
Bro,
That
yes,
cold weather is here.
it is
Finally.
finally.
So house was cold this morning. Got the heat rolling for the first time.
Oh, you turned it on. That's a
Turned it
big
on.
decision. It's a big decision. As we get older, these are the things we talk about. But we've been talking about that. It's like, should we pull the trigger on the heat yet? We haven't done it yet, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah. But no, otherwise things are good. I just finished this episode last night. And so naturally I'm like reacting to it way after everyone else has seen it.
Same. I finished it yesterday, so I feel you. Been waiting to talk to you, especially about that freaking cliffhanger, bro.
I know. Brennan, chill.
Yeah,
chill.
come on.
What about you? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Like you said, a little chilly, but I'm glad that cold weather's finally gotten here because it's been like 80, which is ridiculous. So, and I'm sure it'll be 80 like next week, knowing our temperate climate over here. But yeah, I'm doing good. Just same old, I guess. Sorry, what'd you say?
You got your coffee?
I do. I just made it in celebration of the pod here, so getting my bean juice going.
Are you still like a mushroom coffee kind of guy?
No, listen, I would never say I'm a mushroom. I feel like I had it one time, and it's because I was out. And this is making me sound like I'm defensive and against it. Like I got nothing against it, but no, like I have regular coffee. I did like the mushroom coffee, but the only reason I had that is because like somebody gave it to me as like a Christmas gift, and I was out of normal coffee, so I was like, well, let's try this.
I got a little against it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's on the edge. I'm not gonna fully knock it, but I feel like it's on the edge of like pseudoscience a little bit. Which I mean, mushrooms, long history of great health benefits. But I saw like one ad on my Instagram for like one of the name brand mushroom brands. And it was like some lady in front of a mirror. She was like, "You're not fat. You just have all the stuck poo in your colon."
Yeah, I think I've seen that exact.
Yeah, mushroom coffee will get rid of it. And I was like, "You're telling me that I have so much stuck poo that's what's going on. I'm not actually overweight. It's so."
Well, that's ridiculous. I would agree with you there.
I'm like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
But anyway. Now that I've totally knocked mushroom coffee, let us know what your favorite mushroom coffee brand is and if we should try it.
That's right.
So we do a little coffee stream.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time, and not to further us down that rabbit hole, but I have been, I'm not proud of this, but I'm like a pod guy. It's cheap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's cheap. I'm lazy, but I really am reaching the point where like I need to upgrade my life. So
yeah, move away from the pods, dude.
I know. So I'm thinking
that drip coffee.
I know. I think I'm wanting to buy like just like a pour over kit or something. Like just be a little more sophisticated. So we'll see.
You could get an AeroPress.
What is that?
Really easy. AeroPress. I have it in my kitchen. It's like they make it in metal now too, which I actually like more than the plastic. But it's like a rod, is what it looks like. But you pour the coffee. It's like a larger rod, kind of like a not a Erlenmeyer flask, but you remember like those days in like chemistry class where you had like the it's
like the beakers
whatever.
And stuff.
Yeah, but not a beaker like the tall.
Oh yeah,
rod
like the
thing. But it's short and stout.
Okay.
And so basically you put the coffee in one side. Pour the hot water over it, and then you press down. It's called an AeroPress because I guess you're like pushing the air out of it or something. But it, stews for however long, and then you pour it in your cup, and you got it. You're done.
So like, how much does it make, or is it based on how much you
cup of coffee?
Okay.
It's a cup of coffee. Yeah,
And how long does that take? Like the whole process?
5 minutes maybe.
Okay. Is
It's
it like a
quick.
French press?
It's kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, someone would probably tell me how it's different, but like the mechanics is the same.
Yeah.
Um, but we also have like an actual drip coffee maker too, and that also, I mean, we grind the coffee ourselves, and then
Yeah.
it takes like 2 minutes to make a cup.
I know. I need
So,
that's my next move, I think, for sure. But
well,
yeah.
moving on from
Yeah.
coffee
Yeah.
talk,
Yeah.
let's get into this episode, the snipping of shears. And for people who've checked us out long term, reminder, we don't do the long form recaps anymore, just because it gives us a great chance to um, actually
Actually
talk about
talk more about the
yeah,
episode, yeah.
discuss the episode. But we'll give like the 30-second summary. This episode is basically Wick and Tyranny coming to terms with the revelation of the Halovar family secret and learning about that. And they eventually decide to go rescue Teor, who's been dealt with or sent off to be dealt with by two particularly demon-ish fellows. We have Hal sort of restoring the theater. That is like a real passion project for him. And different characters who are involved in that, like Bolaire bringing the paints, the crates of magical paints. We also have Taconis meeting Murray, and Murray coming to terms with the Pentevral becoming all the more bureaucratic and aristocratic. And then we have also the Thieves Guild, the Crow Keepers, the battle there where Solomon is ultimately killed and defeated. And they find out about Casimir, who has seemingly betrayed them. And lastly, we have Julian, Octus, and Valus, them having brought Octus to Aranessa and General Raymond to sort of protect him from the Taconis family, with an insane stinger of General Raymond, his skull being pulled out of his head, and six figures. I think it was Octus's brother,
Yeah.
and a set of ghouls who come into Aranessa's room and say they have like a black orb with wings.
I think it's
And they,
the Nightstone song. The Stone of Night
oh,
song. I don't know that, but that's what I
oh,
took from that. Which maybe
very
that's an incorrect
interesting.
thing to take from that.
No, yeah, that's a very interesting thought.
We'll talk about it.
Some stone, some perfectly round obsidian stone that would track.
Mhm.
And his brother Ethrin says, get him on the table. Let's put the stone back where it belongs. Or open him up, is what they say.
Yeah.
And that's where the episode comes to an end. So that's like the nitty gritty, quick and dirty, basically what happened as it happened. All right, my buddy, what'd you think? Give us the unbiased. What'd you think of the episode?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was amazing. I've been thoroughly enjoying this so far, and again, just constantly impressed with Brennan's conduction of this
Mm,
orchestra. Of like he's just so on it. Like I would be so I
yeah,
would feel so pressured. Like all right, get out. Like you come sit down. You come sit. Like
yeah,
it's I feel like it's so easy to watch this and just be like, oh, this is great, and not think about like just the chaos that is being conducted in that man's mind. Like I feel like this could have easily been very disjointed and like, oh, like
yes.
okay, and we're going here, okay, and we're going here now. Like, but like
Or
it's
him,
been so seamless.
and even him being like, yes, so like, what? Who wants to come on next? Like, who else has some things they want to do?
Yeah.
Like, it's very much like scene set, and like, okay, now we're gonna go to this group, and all right, see you guys later, and
Yeah.
very intentional and very well, like you said, very well put together for sure.
So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Same. I this is like very in line with our Worlds Beyond chatter of like every episode we're like even better, Taylor Moore, even better.
Yes.
I like had distinct moments in this episode where I couldn't stop smiling, where I was just like, oh no, like fully invested, loved it. I thought this episode was incredible. I think they've all three so far have been insane, and this was my favorite one.
Mm.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, so
Um,
much happened. Like,
yeah,
I feel like there's so many different things to talk about here.
chunky episode for sure.
Yeah.
Five
Yeah,
hours
almost 5 hours. Yeah. Um,
of like you said, yeah, so many. And I guess that's what I'm worried about is like missing, because I think about like there were some like really major moments, and then like some very subtle things that I think are interesting, like Bolaire when he was like in the theater, and there's
yeah.
the insight check, I think, where he
Yeah.
senses something like moving on the face of the world. I think is what
Yeah.
Brennan said, and then it like turns and slithers. I was like, hang on, Brennan, well, are we good? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like that kind of subtle stuff I don't want to lose in our conversation, but I'm worried it might since there's so many other big things that happened.
Yeah. And there were a few, I mean, just to kind of jump in, there were a few moments like that moment with
Hmm.
Belair. And I don't, maybe it's not fair to connect what happened with Belair there explicitly to what I'm about to connect it to, but for some reason they're associated in my mind. But there was that moment, and there were a couple of moments where Brennan, like, I'm trying to think of an actual concrete example here, where he just likened like noticing something like that to the calling of a night song, like a bird.
Mm.
Like, and okay, so again, maybe,
That was,
go ahead.
yeah. You're saying that happened in that moment with Belair?
Okay,
Because it
so
happens.
I don't know that it happened then, and
Okay.
so maybe this is not a fair parallel to make, but at least the moment with Belair reminds me of these moments with the night songs. For example, I believe it was during the Hallowed Ground, the theater moment. I don't remember which character it was. It was either Hal, maybe it was Taisha, maybe it was someone else entirely. But like the implication was they were like looking to nature in the woods to be like comforted in this moment. And like Brennan called for like an insight check or something. And the implication I got was that they didn't roll high enough because Brennan was like, there's something that like would have called out and spoken to you in this moment. But instead, you hear the calling of the night song from the city. And then like
Mm.
in a later moment with another character, he referenced hearing the calling of a night song from the city. And I'm like,
That's
what's going on
that's
here?
that was Valus, I think, as
Okay.
Valus is having her divine sense, and she sees the wolf.
Okay,
Because
yeah, that's the other time
before
it
the divine
happened.
sense,
Yeah.
yeah, she sees. Yeah, the phrasing is like she hears the song of the nightingale, and which let's hang on. I'm stupid. Is this a bird? What is this thing?
I
What's a
assume I
nightingale?
mean Brennan, I assumed bird, but to
Yeah,
be honest, I
that's
don't
fair.
know. I just assumed.
Yeah, Britain assumes everyone has the same, aficionado for bird types.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
I
this is
kept
a
saying
bird.
night song, but you're right. It was
Yeah,
nightingale, I believe. And
nightingale.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is a bird.
yeah. We're just gonna do a quick Magoogle.
Yeah,
Nightingale.
known
Yep.
for its beautiful and powerful song.
Yes. And it says here a very common bird. So yes, I am stupid about birds, I guess. But yes, she is outside, and Brennan says she hears the song of the nightingale, and she sees a wolf running across a bridge, and that she knows that wolf has to get in. The wolf being Taisha,
Right.
which who knows exactly what's imagery there, what's metaphor, like what exactly is happening there.
Yeah.
But yes, that was the other time that we heard that.
So yeah, I mean, again, it might not be correct, for lack of a better word, to associate what happened with Belair to these other moments that I'm referencing. So even if those aren't connected, just the general feeling I got from all three scenes, if you will, is that there's something happening right now. Like there's kind of like
Yeah.
this call to action, if you will.
And is it linked to whatever Diazi saw in the sky?
Yeah. What
Like
if he
something,
saw a nightingale and the viewers and also the cast just don't know what that means yet, but we will.
yeah. Yeah, because isn't there also I wonder if Brennan's doing what's the other like the albatross? Isn't there like significance of an albatross like it's like a bad omen
Yeah,
or
for
something?
like for sailors, I think. Like if you it's like the
Yeah.
albatross around your neck type of thing, something like that.
And so yeah, I might be fully missing this, but I think it's something like that. Yeah. Um, So I wonder if Brennan is similarly doing some kind of like meaning behind the nightingale, whether that is specifically tied to the stone itself. I mean, we know she heard the call. Valus heard the call of the nightingale, and coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally, the what's it called? The night. It's called the night song, the stone of night song.
Oh, okay, that's where I was getting Night Song, I guess.
Yeah, the stone of night song was there, like physically was there.
Oh, right. I wasn't even making that connection.
So maybe like that is not necessarily like means something, but it is tied to the stone in some way. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly something ephemeral and magical,
Yes.
and I'll just say macro, like something's happening in the world that is enchanting and mysterious. And I'm personally loving all that. I mean, it's, we're lore junkies. And so it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, like what's going on? And like this thing slithering and
Yeah.
turning. I'm like, that doesn't feel good. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, what is Brennan? What is he subtly pointing at and talking about? And why Bolaire? Why is
Yeah.
Bolaire the one who senses it? Is it related to his patron? Is it like what exactly is happening there that
Yeah.
he's the one who noticed it?
Right. And like and the significance was that it's because he was at the hallowed grounds. He's like, it's because you're here that you can feel this. And he's like, oh, is something happening to me? And Brendan was like, no, it's kind of the opposite. It's like, for whatever reason, there's more clarity
Yeah,
here that you're
that's
able
right.
to sense this.
Yeah,
Which is interesting because the hallowed ground was a place where they basically worshipped, maybe not the best way to put it, but like they paid tribute to their god. But now it's kind of,
yes.
but now that's no longer what it is. So like, is the clarity because of the old connection to the god, or is the clarity in spite of the god because it now represents the absence
Maybe
of that,
just
you know?
yeah, maybe it's just the fact that it was like a celestial
Yeah.
place, you know. But yeah, this was the place. Again, thank you to our friends at the Critical Role wiki, criticalrole.fandom.com/wiki. This was the place where Asgra being the god of war,
The orc shaper.
chose to manifest to see his followers during all that kind of stuff. And there was also the details from Brennan on how like the symbols had been defaced, but like they were still like present or something to that effect. Because Asgore would use those to like, apparate and cast bane
Yeah.
on his
So
enemies and things
cool.
like
So
that.
that gave me such like a
Yeah.
vivid like image and like kind of view of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And this is after he's brought the paints too, right?
Yeah.
Which, what was the significance of the paints? All I remember is that it was magical in some way.
Well, I think he said it wasn't magical, right?
Oh, I thought it was like something very special about the paint.
So
Like it was like crates that had been set aside specifically for the hallowed ground or something.
so it was paint that Thiazi left for Hal specifically.
Yeah.
And it was
Right.
even something that Thiazi mentioned to Hal in his final moments. He's like, Belair has the
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah. Tell Belair to bring the paint.
But Belair at the start of the episode, Brendan, he's like, and what would you have done with this paint? Like, it was kind of like a retroactive thing. Like, what did you investigated about this paint before you brought it to the hallowed ground? And he did a bunch of checks, and he was like, yeah, like what I took away from it was that there like wasn't anything magical about it, which either meant there's nothing magical about it, or it's a school of magic you don't even know about.
I think it was that one. I think it was like there's something magical or special here, but like you don't know, you can't put your finger on exactly what it is.
Well, I don't think he told him that though, but that was one of the options he presented. He was like, it's either not magical or it's this crazy thing you couldn't even comprehend. But I don't think he was telling him it was the latter.
Yeah.
Per se.
I guess that's where my mind goes, because otherwise, if it's the former, like there has to be something significant.
Yeah, I mean agreed.
I
agreed.
guess option A, the Ozzy's just a very considerate brother, and he's like, man, I don't want Hal to have to buy some
No,
paint.
yeah, no.
So, hey, man, I went ahead and got you some. It's
No,
like the
yeah,
guy who buys
agreed.
the
I mean,
coffin on the front.
clearly
It
there's
could be
something with
that.
this paint, but
Yeah.
maybe it's not a magical thing. I mean, I guess that's kind of like what else would it be then? But
Yeah.
yeah, I know
My
that
money's on the latter, but I guess we'll see. And
yeah,
I'm okay with either, I guess.
like it obviously is for something. So
Yeah.
like, um, yeah, I know that I felt like an easy place to go, and I think Liam even like sort of pinged was like, could this be the luminescent stuff that the Halivars create? But I feel like
Mhm.
that most assuredly would have pinged as magical, like a normal way.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's not that. Um,
Yeah. And also I think it's unlikely to be that only because it feels like Thiazi as an idealist would not want to use that paint or use the filament. I mean, just because of its source or even if he didn't know the exact nature of it, just knowing the nature of the Halavar family and probably being suspicious to their intentions, because they were going to use the paint, right? As they were like rebuilding the theater.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, like they do need paint, like that one like worker
Yeah.
says, like, oh, I was gonna order this next week. So like, yes, but
I kind of wonder, is there something like a warding nature of it, like something protective about it?
that would be
That,
interesting.
yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at was like, and that's why I didn't think it would be the filament. It was because I thought, well, if they're trying to protect against something, I don't know. I guess we really just don't know.
Yeah.
But they're obviously rebuilding, they're crafting. They got the concession stand and the fruit leather, and which, by the way, those of you who've never had, we're a fruit leather family, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I
And
like fruit leather.
they're delicious. They're a great little snack.
Yeah.
But besides the point, they're building now. They have paint. Like I have to assume there's some long vision here of, and especially just knowing the history of the place, the hallowed ground, or
Yeah.
the hallowed round. Excuse me, the hallowed round. It's just too neat to kind of pair these things together for it not to be something very intentional.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that it would make a lot of sense if it was protective in some form or fashion, because we don't know what we don't know. But again, if Thiazi thought he was, part of an escape plan, was going to keep on living, he clearly already had that paint set up. Like this was something, he had already gotten for his brother, who Hal, at this point in his life, is not a revolutionary. He's just an actor. You know what I mean? So like, it would make sense if the paint had nothing to do with like the grand plot for revolution and was more so just some sort of gift to help his brother. Like, again, to protect the hallowed round from magic or something, like with this warding off paint, like you mentioned. Like, to me, that would make more sense than it being some secret grand plan part of the revolutionary that he was just going to insert his brother in on, who hadn't been a part of that world,
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe Hal was meant to be just an intermediary to hold on to the paint for a week until he did something else with it.
Thiazi does come back and he's like, all right, we need that paint that I had you
Where's
hold.
the
He's like,
paint?
oh, I used it. What? You used the paint?
What have you done?
We have a really great moment in this scene, by the way, with Taisha and Shadia, and just a very touching. It was just a good scene. Abria did a great job. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this scene. There's nothing else really coming to mind other than just being very curious about what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
But we can move on from there, unless you have something else you want to point out.
No, not really. I loved that scene in general and the world building that it kind of facilitated with that, like just thinking about like that God showing up and just getting, like, and I think Brennan had some, of course, as he always does, very poetic, beautiful line about how like this act of like, again, worship is not he used a different word, but like, because they weren't like enjoying this necessarily, you know what I mean? But it's like they had that kind of give fealty to this god in this area, and like they were the only race not promised like a nice afterlife. Like it just got worse for them.
Yeah.
Um,
And oh yes, there was was
but the
that
line about
scene?
like instead of thinking about that, they
Yes.
get to look up at this like beautiful city, like so that was great.
Yeah. I love that that exactly what you just said, that line about how like all the other races and their like all the other followers of the other shapers like realized they had this beautiful afterlife, and for the orcs it was just more toiling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just like, what the heck?
Yeah,
Like,
this
I'm
sucks.
sure this is very I think we've talked about this elsewhere. I can't remember in what format, but this is a kind of a consistent theme sometimes of like, hey, the gods kind of suck, and like this particular one, Asgra, hey man, you clearly, I don't know, maybe they could have gotten an afterlife if you
Yeah.
wanted to, if you felt like it, you probably could have. But anyway, let's move away from there.
Yeah.
We talked about the paint and we mentioned could it be filament? Let's work backwards to the
Yeah. I don't think
opening.
it's filament, by the way.
Yeah,
Just to
right,
throw that out
right.
there.
We agree.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say generally, um, dude, Brennan is so freaking good, and him explaining to Wick, like, "Hey, we need you to kind of be done with this whole thing," and then Wick like not getting it, and like Brennan had a very like, and we were called betrayers moment where he like, slams his fist on the table and he's like, "I need you to understand what I'm saying." Just a very intense scene, great scene. But and then Sam's face when everything was said and done of just pure torment of like my backstory. Not that I shouldn't say it that way. Not I don't think he felt like betrayed. I think just like the agony of like, oh no, like this is crazy. Um, but we got some confirmations. We got confirmation that his dad, so they're all ASMR, and someone in, or I don't know, I guess the grandmother, I'm not sure if she would be, but he is and his dad is. And someone in the comments clarified that you're not like partial ASMR, you just are, you aren't. So Sam's an ASMR, presumably. And that his father was created, I think it was from a wish spell or some spell from the blood of the celestial.
Yeah. Like from
Is
the
that,
filament, basically.
yeah. I was going to say, is that accurate or did I
That's what I
misunderstand that?
understood. Like they weren't a couple. Like it wasn't a normal
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because this is something we were talking about in the previous episode of like, were they like a family before the gods' rebellion and that's what split them up? And it's like, no. This is way worse and dark. Like
Yeah.
they just captured this guy and made a baby out of him.
Well, and we did get confirmation that pretty much what we had theorized last episode was that they were a holy family, family of the light, what have you.
Yes.
And then when the gods were killed, it was like, well, dang, what do we do now? Like we got this whole brand about being priests. Like we got to do something. And then did they say they themselves captured this celestial?
I
They're
think.
okay. Well, all that to be said, they kind of wrote the script from there of like, this ephemeral light that's in everything and yada yada, the whole story there. But they're bad. They're real bad. And I think Tyranny mentioned that the reason the demons are in working with them is they are shipping filament to what was this guy's name? Like the Prince of Demons or
The
something?
demon guy. Let me see if I can find it.
Let's see if this is in. Let's see.
But just a quick something I wrote down because we're kind of on the subject is that the Taconuses were a priestly family of the shadow, and the Halavars were the priestly family of the light and the sun. Like I'm guessing there were maybe specific shapers related to those things. Like that was pre-fall. That's like what their purpose was in society.
Okay, it's not in the wiki, but let me check the Discord because I actually talked about it in the live chat, and let's see here.
And Ethion is the name of Wick's grandfather, who was a servant to the sun.
Yes.
which was the god that the Halavars were priests of, or whatever.
I think she said, guys, I'm sorry, this is gonna butcher because this was like our live chat reactions, and I like barely missed it. I thought she said Charcy was the name
Of the
of the
the
demon lord.
demon. Yeah, I met my notes. I don't have the name. All I have is one of his titles, which was the Shadow of Suffering.
Yeah, and that this is now presumably the ruler of the pit. I don't know if it's actually called the pit. That's where demons are referred to, I guess.
Yeah.
Or the abyss, I think, excuse me. But the ruler of the pit, now that whatever shaper was in charge of it previously is gone. So regardless of like the actual like nomenclature, naming, titling, whatever, there's a real bad demon dude who has worked out some deal where the demons will assist the Halovar family,
Right.
and in return, the Halavars will ship filament. I mean, could there be a worse, like
Not
more
just filament though.
foreboding? What's that?
They said not just filament though. It's they the demons get filament and souls. So
Yes.
I mean, whatever that necessarily means. Like, are they just sacrificing people to these demons? Are they shipping live people to these demons? But yeah, and like,
It's real bad. That's all. It's real bad. Let's just get real.
yeah, and we don't fully understand how this works yet, but we know that like tyranny referred to as she was given a body by
Yeah, six
this
months.
pit lord,
Yeah, 6 months
um,
previously.
which I guess the pit, the way I'm picturing this, it wasn't explained, is like a massive swirling souls.
Think of it like here's how I've always thought of it is this might be a reach because you haven't played WoW in forever, but the twisting nether in WoW, which is similarly like this now I can't even explain it. Like when a demon is killed, it goes back to the twisting nether where it eventually like reconstitutes and has a form again. And so I think it's a similar vibe in that, yeah, the abyss, uh, the demons are killed and they go back to the abyss or the pit, whatever phrasing Brendan was using. And it is like a spirit. I don't know if soul is the right terminology because I think for me, soul would be someone on Araman, like a mortal,
Mm-hmm.
is what I ascribe a soul to. I don't know if it's similar for demons, but I think your thinking's right in that it's not like river Styx though. It's not like a thing of souls and then like they pluck one out and like you're a demon. I don't think. I do think it's like shadowy, dark hodgepodge of
Yeah,
demonic essence, and then you can pluck one out and you are now the demon tyranny, or what have you.
yeah.
So,
I guess, yeah. I guess what I'm wondering is like, what like are so like if it is like a cycle, like demons die and they return to this mush, does that mean that tyranny had a previous life, or like, and like, are we dealing with afterlife cycles here, which is also like a big theme of this story so far, or is this like a self-contained ecosystem that just exists within the demon world? Like there are just these like proto demon tadpoles, if you will, that's just like this constant source of energy, and some of them get the honor of getting bodies. Like, and is that
yeah.
what's happening? And this is tyranny's first life, or did tyranny, not even that she has to remember it or anything, but like, did the soul that is tyranny once have another form of a body that died and she returned to this pool, and now round two?
I
I'm
think I think
interested.
both I think both can be true.
Yeah.
I think also, and you guys who are listening can help me here. I think typically it's what it usually is not when it's used like in the literary sense. It's usually not like a person who died and was so bad
Yeah.
they were like they became a demon and now they live in the abyss. You know what? I think it is like its own ecosystem, like you pointed out. And in Tyranny's case, I mean, we don't know. I don't think we know. I don't think she said this is my first time with the body. She only said I was given a body 6 months ago with the intents and purposes of making you look good.
Yeah.
And then after she's she dies and she's sent away, she would go back to the abyss. So
Yeah, it's interesting. And they said she said their families have been in bed together for a long time. I wonder if that means even before the Shaper War, because that feels like it wouldn't make sense necessarily, but it would be interesting if it was true. But I mean, even if it's after, that's still 70 years, so I guess that's a long time.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to know like what's the player speaking and what's like the character, if that
Yeah,
makes
true.
sense. Like Whitney Moore, who I'm loving Whitney Moore, by the way. I think
Yeah.
she's terrific. And her and Sam are such a freaking good
Yeah,
pair.
they got a great dynamic going.
They're so great together. And I really like them both. Um, but this could be Whitney Moore just being like, yeah, it's been a long time, and it's like 20 years.
Yeah.
Or it could be the demon Tyranny being like, hey, even before the Shaper War, there was something going on, some quid pro quo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, and I like
But
that they're both kind of the same. Like they're both what's the word? Like they're not the same, but Tyranny and Wick are both like the outcasts. Like they both are the odd ones out of their family structures, but kind of in
mhm.
completely different trajectories, because like she always knew he was oblivious, but part of me wonders like just because of who Sam is, like I'm wondering not that there's like not the type of twist where like Wick always knew, like not that, but I'm wondering like how much of how much of it is like kind of an act that he's putting on, like not that he doesn't believe it, but like is he really that dense, you know what I mean? Like for the scene in the where they saved Tayor, I do think a lot of that was played up just for the humor of the moment, but I'm wondering like did Wick really not pick up what was going on there, or is he kind of weaponizing his persona a little bit? Like is there intention there? I'm wondering.
If you had asked me at the end of episode 1 when I was working on like that Sam Riegel thing,
Yeah.
I would have said that
Yeah.
he's purposely he's playing on his ignorance to cause people to underestimate him.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to the priest in Game of Thrones. I can't
Yeah,
think of his
yeah.
name,
I know you're
but
talking about.
that kind of angle. After seeing this episode, I think he is that dense.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, if there is still a twist around it, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. And I
But
mean, maybe dense isn't the right word, but like
oh yeah,
naive or like
yeah,
idealistic, I guess maybe.
yeah. I mean, the guy's in his 20s, right? Like his late 20s. I
I
mean,
think I think.
this isn't like someone who just became religious a year ago. Like his
Right.
whole identity is, as he put it, to be the scion of the Halovar family. And so, to like suddenly have your identity change in a moment, like I think the interesting pathway forward for him will be that, for me, this is just like the natural storytelling of it, though I'm sure Sam would have some twists along the way for us, is that there is this energy, there is this light that you can call on, and what the Halavar family has pointed out to be like a ruse, actually, Wick discovers is real. And
Yeah.
I think that's why the pairing with Tayor is so interesting, because again, if we go back to episode 1, he notices that Tayor wields the light
Mm-hmm.
and in a way that is very tangible.
Yeah.
So, which I love that they're paired up also. I think this is just it's a great pair.
Me
Think
too.
about the three of these people: Tayor, Tyranny, who should, seemingly be opposed, both paired up to help Wick. It's kind of an interesting, like, good angel, bad devil, or demon on the
Yeah.
shoulders. Though Tyranny's certainly not evil, but the sort of metaphor of it's kind of interesting, I
Yeah.
think.
And yeah, I mean, speaking of that pairing, we did get our first official table created this episode, the soldiers, which is going to be
Yes.
Tayor, Wick, Tyranny, Cadigan, and Thimble.
Yeah.
Which, listen, all the tables are gonna be great, but like that's a freaking all-star cast right there. Like,
Yes.
I'm very
Yes.
excited for that table.
And speaking before, not to get lost in the details, but another tiny detail that I don't want to miss. I'm loving Robbie, by the way. I love Cadigan and Murray. And doesn't Murray have like a gold tooth or something, or like a silver?
I
Like,
think she has like gemstone teeth or something like
yeah.
that. The way I don't know that this is the case, but I'm wondering if they're like spellcasting.
Ooh,
Like
smart.
what's the word?
Yeah.
Like
Um, focuses, I
yeah,
think is what it
yeah.
is.
I'm wondering if that's what those are.
Marisha, by the way, it's not physical comedy, but like the physical acting.
Yeah,
She does such a great job of like pointing out that crusted tooth,
yeah,
like, so, like not sucking on it, but just like the acting there is so like pronounced and
yeah.
so smart. I really like it. But her and Cadigan,
They're
dude,
cracking me up.
they're so funny. They're such a funny pair. But going back to what I was originally saying, Cadigan's little detail on have you been outside of the city? Have you been
Yeah,
in the wilds? Um, and also the implication of what's not said, because he said, I came here 3 nights ago from Timony, I think.
something like that.
And there was like nothing else said about it, but it was as if like you should know what I mean by that.
Mm.
So like, is this like a city that was destroyed? Is this just like a roguish city, like a dangerous city? Like there's something about whether it's like the time, like I've been in the wild for 3 days, whatever it is, but there's something very spooky, I guess, about being out in the wild.
Yeah,
And I'm very curious, like what does that mean? What's going on
yeah.
there?
He's basically saying like it's bad out there. Like
Yeah,
um, in the cool down. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but Brennan was like, "Yeah, thanks, Robbie. You covered my foreshadowing. I didn't need to talk about what's kind of out there."
okay, okay, cool.
And then uh, I saw a little clip. I don't know if you saw this clip, but Robbie is the one that gave Brennan the most on his backstory, which I thought
I
was
did see
interesting.
that. I did see that. And I saw that Travis, I think he said gave him like a line, like a
Yeah,
sentence or something.
yeah. He said Travis and I think Marisha gave the least, um,
Yeah.
uh, which is interesting. I know you saw it, so you saw this, but Robbie was like, I guess he apparently kind of just winged it with Dorian. So this time he wanted to he's like, if I'm going to be playing this for 3 years, like I want to know what I'm working from. So I'm excited to see what's beneath the surface of this character. Like,
Well, if you think about it, also Dorian was kind of lightning in the bottle, where I'm sure what was told to him was like, "Hey, you're going to be a temporary character. We're going to take your exam." Well, originally it was you're going to be an EXU,
right?
right?
Yeah,
And it's going to be a 9 episode thing. So it's like, okay, yeah, like how much do I put together for this? And
yeah,
then from there it was like, hey, you're going to be in part of the start. But Robbie was just so incredible and had such a great table dynamic. I definitely think like the setting up of expectations of like you're part of this campaign long term allowed him to indulge a
yeah,
bit. I'm very interested in his character though,
yeah.
and intrigued about his character. But yeah, to go back to your original point, this is the soldier table. These 5 characters, and quite a few people. Like I was interested if, I mean, quite a few is not the right thing to say, but I was wondering if we were going to get like an even-ish split, which this could still work of 5, 4, and 4 because it's 13, right? 13
Yeah.
total people,
Yeah.
which we could still get. But I do also wonder, like, could we get 5, 5, and 3? It doesn't really matter other than just wondering, like, what will the table dynamics look like? And, so we have 2 other tables, the Seekers and
Uh, the
the Spies.
schemers.
Schemers. I keep saying, wanted to say Spies. Yeah, the Schemers. That's right. Um, so yeah, but these 5 are going to Gormalay to track down
Track down
Casimir,
Casimir. Yeah.
who presumably was something doesn't really make sense here, honestly, if you think about it. Because the Halavar family is opposed to the Taconis family. Well,
Well,
they're
they're
in it. I think it's
allies. They're public
they're
allies, but
yes,
secretly they're trying to one up each other.
yes. And Grandma Wick is very concerned about the Taconises. We got a mention somewhere else that like the Taconis soldiers or like presence has really increased throughout the city or something like that. I can't remember like what the phrasing was. Um, but they have worked together in the execution of Thiazi. The thing that I said doesn't really make sense, but maybe it does make sense because maybe it's all part of like the deal that was made around Thiazi. So as we understand it, Casimir was one of like the wagon drivers with Taylor's brother.
He procured the wagon.
Okay, but they were involved with the wagon with what's his brother's name?
Sid.
Sid. Yeah,
Talsidamir or something.
Tasidamir. Yeah. Betrayed them for a ton of money and the deed to the Halavar.
Yeah. Well, we don't know it was the Halavar one.
We don't. We just assume it is, or at least Laura Bailey or Thimble implies that it might be.
Yeah.
And that's really the only thing is like, okay, so perhaps he was rewarded by the Taconuses and the Halavar for, turning this deal or outing this plot, I guess. But what we know is when he was acquiring the stuff, Sid rushes in, grabs the deed, and runs out. And Cass is like, "You can't do that," and chases after him. So, are all those details correct? Did I miss anything there?
I think so. I think so. Like pretty much. I don't know if it was necessarily like, as kind of like cartoonish as like, give me that, I'm leaving. Like maybe just somehow Sid came across it and.
I think. Well, no, I think the Thieves Guild, the Crowkeeper person, said that like Cass had come in, but then Tasidamir came in also, or Talsidamir came in and said like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And then like grabbed the deed and ran out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, the cartoon version in my head is Casimir being like, "There's nothing you can do because I have this deed," and then Sid just grabbing it and running away.
So like, yeah, I wonder. Also, not that this isn't even worth a back pat, but when we were trying to figure out who the traitor was, I put my money on Cass because we got that little flashback of him. It was a little character building moment to set up the betrayal. But I think there's more to this story, maybe yet to be told. I mean, maybe he's just a traitor, but like,
because didn't he like owe money or something, or like,
yeah. So like, the short version I think is he was involved. And this is why he was the wagon procurer, because like he made like secret compartments in wagons for like people to smuggle stuff in or like hide valuables in. And so what he started doing is he started skimming, because like he would notice when one of the wagons he outfitted came through and he's like, "Oh, well, let me steal from this secret compartment that I installed in this thing. Perfect crime. Nobody's going to know." And so like the Crow Keepers have like a list of people that owe them money. Like beyond a certain, it's like a kill list basically, or like these people owe us a lot of money, and Cass was on that list. But then he just comes in one day.
Velas got that list.
Yeah, she's got the list.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
But so Cass owes like a ton of money, and like he was like basically on the kill list for the Crow Keepers. But they say he just comes in one day and fully pays off his debt, which the implication there is he struck a deal and sold out Thiazi for all this money and this deed. So yeah,
and sold the stone, right? The stone and the like other belongings or something or things.
Yeah,
wasn't he? Because Thimble had the stone.
Yeah, so I guess that's the implication then that
there was, because the question was, I think Thimble said, "When I think about my attackers, did any of them look like Kaz?" And Brennan just gives like a nod.
So yeah, so I guess he sold out the plan, which not only got Thiazi killed, but also got the stone. Which that obviously then directly ties in the Taconuses, assuming that is the stone at the end of the episode. So perhaps he sold them the stone and sold out Thiazi. Now, is it simply just because he was in debt and scared for his own life, which is enough? Like that would make sense. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna die. I'll sell out Thiazi. Or could there at all be some other thing there? Not that it's important, but make it a little more gray as opposed to he's just a traitorous D-bag.
Yeah.
Because I mean, again, that flashback scene was him being mighty heroic. So you'd think, I think there's a little gray there. We'll see.
I
We'll
don't
see.
think so.
You don't think so? You think he just, he's just a rogue? He's gonna do
I
what?
mean, I think it's just interesting storytelling when like we always use this phrase like the baddie's not a mustache twirling villain, but like it's complicated. And
Yeah,
you use the word gray. I mean, maybe that's what I mean. I guess that's the same word, really.
yeah. I don't mean that like something's gonna come out and he's a good guy. Like it was a good thing that he did
Yeah.
all of this. But just more to the story.
Yeah. Um, but so yeah, that's the soldier table, and they have left the city now to go to Gormalay to chase after Kaz,
Cass.
and presumably find out what happened to Sid,
Yeah.
who's I guess in being pursued by
Yeah.
Casimir.
Yep.
Okay, okay. Moving on from there, we have the scene with Murray at the Pentavral,
Yeah.
talking to Tall Barrow, and we had that conversation. Obviously, happened in episode 2, but we have Dad Taconis. What's his first name?
I don't know his first name or Primus, but is that a title or a name?
I think it's. I have to assume that's a title, but maybe his first name is Primus. But yeah, Primus Taconis. Dude, I just gotta say, Marisha Ray was just really impressive. I mean, there was very much like an element of, hey, you're level 3, and this baddie's probably level like 15 plus. And if you say one more thing,
Yeah.
he will probably like. I feel like Brennan was pretty like heavy-handed hinting.
Yeah.
You've got to, and I
I
really
mean,
liked the.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was there was a curse thrown out that she just kind of miraculously saved
Yeah,
against.
yeah. And
Um,
Brennan, I think, said like she would have had like disadvantage or something on like all of her rolls for the rest of the day or something.
yeah, it was like for every action, basically every turn, she would have had to roll a save, and if she failed, she couldn't do anything.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But I really liked this. I felt kind of the weight of like, hey, make sure you know who you're messing with, because this was not really a complaint, but like kind of a little bit of a silliness in campaign 3 of anytime the party ran into Ludinus, it was so much trash talking to Ludinus. And I'm like, dude, this guy could probably wipe the floor with you. Like, but there was he had some intentions for them and like wanted, I think that in a way they were a little bit of a backup plan. And so I don't fault necessarily that whole interaction, but it was nice to see a cast member fall back into the same like trash talking and feeling like Brennan was like on the brink of like, I'm going to just kill your character.
Yeah, it's like this is episode 1, and you're in the room with Darth Vader. Like he will kill you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
which Brennan in the cooldown. Which did you watch it?
I did
In the
not.
cooldown, he asked, he's like, which character? He said, point at the PC you thought I was closest to killing, and most people pointed at Travis because of
Oh,
the Mercanod, and Brennan said nope, and he pointed right at Marisha. He was like, you like. He's like, oh, does Murray have a twin sister, Smurry? Because like you're going to die if you keep like pressing this big
and
bad.
yeah, and Brennan gave his player an out because I think there was a moment where I think Brennan realized it's this interesting nuance where it's like, okay, it's so early in the campaign. I want to make sure I've given my players every ample opportunity. So you don't want to like kill them immediately, but which I think
Yep.
some DMs would do that. But I think if I remember correctly, Murray's like rushed out of the room, maybe by like Tall Barrow,
Yeah.
being like, she gets it. And like, I think that was Brennan as the NPC being like, okay, Marisha's not quite getting it. Well,
Mhm.
that's a little condescending to say it that way. I don't know if my players really understands like the gravity of this character. So I'm gonna have
Yeah.
another NPC get them out of this room because if this interaction continues, this
Yeah, like
player
I
is
don't want to let this play out and be forced
yeah,
to do what I know must happen, So
yes, exactly.
let me prevent that even from being a possibility. Which the really kind of cool but sad element to that is that I think Marisha rolled a nat 1 on her insight check, so she thinks that Tall Barrel betrayed her,
Yes,
even though
that's
he
right.
literally saved her life. Like that's so sad,
Yes.
you know? Because she
Yes.
even mentions it like an offhanded comment, but later in the conversations, like it is something that stuck with her. When she
Yeah.
was talking to Azune, I think she said, "Yeah, like Tall Barrels in their pockets even," and it's like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
no, no. Which
You know.
props to to Marisha for playing that, because I mean she
Yeah.
obviously knows what was going on there, but her character
Yes.
doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and I loved it. I just think of the immediate reaction where she like huff and puffs, like
Yeah,
stomps out when she realizes I'm really liking Murray,
yeah.
dude. I just
Murray is great.
oh man. I keep want to say Murray, by the way, because
Yeah, what is that
in
from?
it's from Monkey Island, the Secrets of Monkey Island
Oh,
3, where he meets a skull and he's like, I'm Murray.
oh,
And like it's a very pronounced Murray.
yeah. I'm thinking of something. There's somewhere there's something other. There's something else where a character's like Murray, but I don't know what it is. Maybe one of y'all knows in the comments,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I'm losing it entirely, which is possible.
What's that called where you think of something that happened but it never did?
Um,
Like
are you,
Sinbad, the example
oh
with
yeah.
Sinbad being a genie or
The
whatever.
Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe we're Mandela affecting this. Who knows?
it's possible.
Um anyway, so that whole thing happens. Uh it's real bad. Doesn't feel good. Like the Pentevral's kind of being taken over, the city's being taken over.
Yep.
This is a very Brennan-ist kind of approach to authority and control and all of these things. Um, let's move on from there to. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else other scene that we want to talk about? Oh, let's. Speaking of the Taconis family, I want to talk about the final scene, but maybe before we get there, Teor and the Mercanaud
Mm,
and the Mercanaud brothers.
yeah.
Brothers, we don't know if they're actually
Yeah.
brothers, but not a lot to like say about it other than just like Brennan just plays evil so well. And I was also wondering like how brutal, like whenever Wick and Tyranny show up and it wasn't Calastro. What was the Rulius? I think is his
So,
name.
yeah, something like that.
And he says, "Oh, well, the guest won't be ready till the morning."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
Like, what do you think was the intention there?
I don't know. And like they were cutting his shadow into pieces. Like, what does that do to a person? I mean, clearly he was going to die, but like,
Yeah,
what if you cut somebody's shadow off but you don't kill him? Like what? Like like
yeah,
what does that even mean? Which felt very Taconis, because the Taconises are the shadow people, but I don't think.
yeah.
I mean, clearly these are people associated with the Halavars, which makes me think they're demons. Like,
I think it was almost even outrightly said that they were demons.
yeah, because like one of
Um,
them like he like pulled back his skin or so, like he was wearing a wig, and like the back of his head was like an infernal, like it was like a stone that had like infernal fire or something that Brendan
yeah.
described. And then one
Yeah. I
guy,
wonder were they excising? Well, the point I was going to make was I
yeah,
was wondering how like brutal this was going to be, and for some reason, like the cutting of the shadow was so like I was like, oh my gosh. But I wonder if they were like excising his soul or something
yeah, I mean,
to then,
because yeah, that's one of the things they provide, filament and souls. So like, yeah, maybe
yeah.
creepy. And then
And
like it might have just been creepy set dressing, but like the fact that one of the twins like he had to cast the illusion of light reflecting in his eye, like basically saying that like he was like trying to emulate. These weren't Brennan's words, but the way I got it was like he was trying to emulate like a soul, like a person. So like, is that just how creepy this guy is, or do you think they are like husks? And I don't, does
I
that
think,
even make sense? What I'm trying to like
yeah.
delineate there? Like I didn't know. Like, is this a person, or is this like a? I don't even
No,
know what to say, what to
I think
call
it's
it.
the latter. I think it's, I mean, think about it. They're wearing wigs like they're literally wearing skin suits, I guess,
Yeah.
and trying to emulate that as best they can. And they're in a marketplace, so I'm sure they have people who, come by to buy. So I think it's that. I was gonna say something else, but I was gonna say, and also this is a very Travis-esque kind of thing, but shout out to Travis. Travis just always plays according to like what his character would think so well. And
Mm,
I think the example we've given a few times or mentioned a few times is in campaign 3 with the museum heist. He got separated from the party, and the party put the traps behind them
mhm.
to for the people chasing them or also looking for the object.
Yeah.
And Travis goes into the room with those traps and very Home Alone esque, you know, he falls into the
Yeah.
caltrops or whatever the traps were, and like, oh no, it's just I love that he wasn't back then like I come in and I look around. Are there any traps by chance?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the same way, Travis knows that he's being, I mean, I presume he does, because we know that the cast, we can hear some of the reactions of the cast off camera.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he has a sense of, hey, this probably isn't good. Probably not going to be good for me.
Yeah.
And for his character, like to walk in and be like, "Oh, hello, everyone," and not like I come in like skulking and do I trust this shopkeeper? Who is this person?
Yeah.
Just
Even
shout out to
asks
Travis.
for a drink,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like poison me,
So
please.
yeah,
So yeah,
but
agreed.
anyway, shout out to
Travis is
Travis.
great like that. Um, I've been looking through my notes here. Was there somewhere specific you were wanting to jump next?
I was just gonna take us to the final scene.
Okay. Before
But
we
go ahead.
get there, let me just run through a couple of specific things I noted. I think this line maybe happened during the hallowed ground scene, but talking about the Loy family's forging of the weapons that allowed them to kill the gods. The way he phrased it was they found a secret buried in the earth.
Mm.
And so that made me wonder what's down there. Could this the first place to go is obvious, or not obviously, but the first place I went was like kind of thinking to Exandria of like the primordials versus the gods. Like maybe even though the shapers showed up here and created everything, maybe there was something already here, that they
And
killed or
continuing,
you know.
well, considering that actual line, wasn't there something like they found a secret in the earth, and the rest of that sentence was like, and that's what allowed them to first like form the weapon?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess. Okay. Yeah.
So like they
And then
used the secret in the earth to forge the god killing weapons.
and then I feel like this was a pretty heavy-handed tie-in, but maybe I read too much into it. The sword, Thiazi's sword, is that not
Oh,
that weapon?
I don't I don't know. I didn't jump there, but that is interesting. Like I mean,
Because here's what's interesting is they talked about how it was House Loy
mhm.
that found that secret and forged the weapon that killed Asgra. I think Asgra, or just the Shapers in general.
Yeah.
Um, but then when Hal is looking over the sword and he describes it and discovers that this is the Liar's Blade, Britton says something to the effect of this was a weapon of House Loy, and you may one day learn how to wield it. Something to that
Mm.
effect.
Mm.
Which I'm thinking, okay, we have two mentions of a weapon in the same episode. Surely, and this is also a very critical role esque ism, whatever you want to call it, of, or I guess it's really just a D&D ism. Party stumbles across mythical artifact, in the first episode or what have you.
Yeah.
So for me, it feels like Brennan was pretty heavily signaling this is that weapon. But I guess it could be that the Loys maybe they made a bunch of weapons. I don't know.
Yeah. So that I mean, I could totally see it being that. I guess the only reason I didn't immediately jump there is that I'm imagining like there isn't one singular god killing sword, but rather they like found the way to smith those types of weapons. So
Yeah, it could be like that.
like maybe everything the Loy family forges is technically a god killer. And maybe that doesn't mean it's like a roll 40d20 every time you attack, but maybe it just means like this weapon somehow has the property to like bypass their normal divine defenses and it's like a normal weapon beyond that, you know what I mean? Anyway, all that to say is that like maybe it is created by the Loys, maybe it is using that same method they found out, but maybe it's not like literally the legendary artifact that killed Osgra.
So I was looking
But
on the
maybe it
Critical Role
is.
wiki. I was looking on the Critical Role wiki, and the they didn't have the Liar's Blade on here yet, but I did find the Pariah Blades, and I think this was mentioned either in this episode or the previous episode. I think Brennan's like giving a description of like, yes, the Pariah Blades were
Yeah.
forged to kill the gods.
It was in the. It was
Um,
when they went to the museum, Valaire's museum,
yes, that's right. That's
the
right.
Loy Wing. Yeah.
So, so okay, here we go. Trivia. The Liar's Blade, the sword of Thiazi gifted to his brother, bore a maker's mark indicated it had been crafted by the Loys. It is likely one of the Pariah blades.
Mm.
So I think what you're saying is correct. Probably not the sword that killed Hazgra,
Yeah.
but one of these like crazy special
Yeah.
swords.
That would make sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um.
cool.
Oh, I had. Oh. Um. I loved the. I love the little moment with him picking up the sword. I just love how that was framed. I don't. It might have even been Liam who did this, not Brennan. But just like, and I don't know that this was his intention, but it felt very much like a video game or like a book or a movie where like a character's presented with a choice, and the symbols are his brother's sword, fighting, going under this rebellion, or the deed to the theater he's worked his entire life to finally get, and he picks up the sword. Like it's like
Mhm.
I know what I must do. Like I love that.
And I loved also just Hal's a bard and presumably like theater kid, and he
Yeah,
has the line of like it's a lot heavier. He's only ever had like a prop
yeah,
sword, and it's like, oh, this, yeah. I mean, it's very also like coming of age video game esque. I felt like too, which I really liked.
like do we obviously anything could happen, so not that it's been predetermined, but like do you think that he will pretend to be his brother? Like that might be the most
Hmm.
powerful. Like if you decide to step into these shoes and like continue the rebellion, then like pretending to be your dead brother, like they couldn't even kill, like that might be the most
Yeah,
powerful way to like continue the movement. Or will he just be himself? Like I mean,
I
he
can
is a
see that.
bard. They are brothers.
Yeah,
They look alike.
yeah, I can
Could be
see that.
cool.
There was
Um
one other detail too that I wanted to mention before we went to the outro, and you might, or final scene, but you might have something too.
yeah.
But Julian runs into Tayor, and doesn't
Yes.
Matt, like, isn't it like implied that like Julian
Oh
knows
yeah.
like what's actually,
Yeah, like he knows he's being sent to be killed and he does not
yeah,
say
and he's
anything.
like, yeah, he doesn't say anything, which I'm like, Julian is such
He's
a
such an edge lord.
douchebag. Yeah, I
Um,
love the flavor of that.
yeah, his character is fascinating.
Mhm.
Okay, just looking. Very quickly, I loved the inspiration that Liam gave Laura, and Brennan was like, "Hey, that's not gonna expire, and like it'll
Yeah,
even level up if you don't use it." And like
yeah,
his bard levels up. I thought that was really cool.
yeah. Which would be a really long time to not use it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure Laura Bailey's going to save it for an epic moment. Speaking of Thimble, though, I loved Thimble and Julian's back and forth.
Yes, that was my
Oh
next
my
note. That was
gosh,
so good, dude. I
so
can't wait to
good.
see like more moments of Matt getting to like be a
Yeah,
player this campaign. But yeah, I love that he's just going for it. Like the Tayor moment, like spitting on Thiazi and like grabbing Thimble. Like he's not
yeah.
afraid to just go there. Um. Okay. Yeah, I think this. Okay. Yeah. Everything else I have is about that last scene. But one thing that's just kind of random, that wasn't even really necessarily in the episode, but a thought I'm having is what ended the Falconers' rebellion, and what like and how so peacefully as well. Which I think we talked a little bit. Like basically, they all got pardoned, which is why Taylor, Thiazi, Azune are all like not in jail, but like why did that happen though? How was it such a peaceful end? And why did they rebel in the first place? Was it the same stuff that Thiazi is still worried about? These are just kind of grander questions I'm still thinking about.
Wasn't there like an implication of like, I remember Azune was maybe when they were leaving, they saw like a monument or something. But there was something around too, like it was thought that Dol Machiar was going to join the Falconers Rebellion, but like maybe they didn't or something.
Mm.
And so I think the monument was like a reminder of their shame or something like that.
There
Um,
was like there were no names listed on it. And so I didn't know if that was because it's like, hey, we're gonna honor them, but like they were rebels. Like this is
yeah,
like it's not an honor type of thing. Like it's kind of like a secret, which is why Azune is like, I remember each and every of their all of their names or whatever.
yeah,
So like to me that was part of like maybe this peace treaty. It's like, hey, you like y'all should be punished. Like this was not cool, but like we're gonna
yeah.
extend the olive branch. So yeah, I don't know.
I can see it being something like that though, where like it was kind of bigger than just like a ragtag rebellion,
Yeah.
but that like, hey, to like let everything heal, let's just, hey, that happened. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So, well, let's move on to the final scene. We have Julian, who has a rare moment of genuineness
Yeah.
with Valus and being like, I feel I can trust you. And Valus says that in return. And we have Valus also seeing the wolf running across the bridge and knowing this wolf has to get in. And that's Taisha, who's arriving at the
Yep.
House Royce, I guess.
Hmm.
We have Aranessa confronting Octus and being like, hey, tell me what's going on here. But we have these two very distinct moments. One where General Raymond's his skull is pulled from his body and killed. And then Octus attacked, for lack of a better phrase. Um, the curse on Julian, is that related to the attack that's happening here? Like, did they like follow him in to get by whatever maybe wards were around this house? Or are there two things happening? He has this shadow, this curse on him, and also the House of Shadows is attacking in this moment. What's your take on that?
My take was that the curse she felt was what happened to him at the funeral.
When he
The
spits on the
shadow that
corpse,
like
right?
followed him.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, but I don't remember the exact language that was used, but like she could also tell there was like even beyond that curse, like there's the kid's troubled or whatever. So maybe that was related to the attack that was simultaneously happening, or maybe it's just kind of speaking to Julian's character of like, yeah, he is actually literally cursed, but it's kind of more than that. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know about like because there was also that line of maybe in that same moment where Valus could sense that there were like tens of thousands of souls like in this garden, like because there's nowhere for these people to go right now. I guess is the implication I got, but like,
I think what was said was, and this has been like a theme through the first three episodes of the gnomish celestial, I think, and then the Stone of Night song, like this ferrying of dead souls to like paradise, for lack of a better phrase, and like, well, what happened when the gods died? And so we have specifically from Aranessa, which I'm curious about House Royce. I can't remember their role, but Aranessa seems in the know on how things are, what's really happening.
yeah,
And Aranessa says that because the gods died, souls have nowhere to go. It's overflowing like crazy. And the underworld, I think when that energy, I think the phrasing he used was when the underworld's energy like entered our world, it was so catastrophic that it almost killed the heart of Fairy. And
so like that's why they closed the doors, right?
yeah, I think that's the implication.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's two castles. House Royce has a castle in the Golden Orchard, and House Taconis has a castle in the underworld, in death, the realm of death, and that realm is thriving, whereas the Golden Orchard is dying.
Mm,
I think is what Aranessa said.
yeah, that's really interesting because the castle's not of this world. So like D&D terms, I'm guessing just different realms kind of situation, but it kind of makes me think of like the spirit from Worlds Beyond a little bit. Um,
Okay, and the Golden Orchard was once a liminal space between Ahriman and Fairy.
Okay.
So I guess like an in between. Okay. Well, yeah. So it's very interesting the outcomes of killing these gods. I mean, seems like it's real bad,
Yeah.
or there should have been a backup plan, I guess. Um, which it also makes me wonder, like, where is this going long term? Like, will it be to like revive the gods? Like, how will they restore order? But
Yeah.
regardless, in the short term, you have Matt's dad being killed, or Julian's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Very curious to see like what path does that set him on.
Yeah.
Like what will that mean for him? Is this our Sawyer redemption arc? You know?
Yeah, he did. I mean, they kind of, I don't know if it was in the cooldown or at the end of the episode, but they did kind of joke about, I think it was in the cooldown. Marisha's like, you didn't do anything. And Matt was like, I was in shock. And he's like, we'll have my reaction next episode. But yeah, like he did look like he was in shock, like looking at Matt as that was happening. So yeah, I'm interested to see because like, not to get too deep into a character that's only existed for a couple of episodes, but we've talked about like this Sawyer trope where like, yeah, he's got this rough exterior, but like really like, there's probably like a good guy underneath all of that. And like he even mentioned, you know, I had that conversation with my dad and I was going to talk to Valus to find out more from her. And then I planned to go back and talk to my dad. Now he will never get that opportunity, obviously. So like I could see that, not that he's going to have a 180 starting next episode, but I could see this being kind of the thing that sets him off the path. Like, even though he had that fractured relationship with his dad, they obviously still cared about each other in their own way. So I think he could be like, what? Like, I'm assuming he thinks his dad didn't deserve that. Maybe not, but maybe this will get him diving into some questions and what his dad talked about a few episodes ago. Like, have you ever wondered why maybe, I did what I did with Diazi? So could be the start of that journey.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Octus being attacked by his brother, and they want to put the stone of Night Song in him.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know, because we know two things, right? There's all of these souls causing a ruckus ever since the gods died, and we know at least specifically that souls are good for one reason or another because the demons want them. So like maybe the Stone of Night Song, this celestial halfling that used to ferry souls, like maybe putting that in Octus like grants him that ferryman ability somehow, or he can be used to channel or something, and this will then allow the Taconuses to control some subset of souls ferried to the afterlife that they can maybe use as a power source or a currency or something. Like, that's my only guess, is that there's a bunch of free real estate out there in terms of souls that these evil people are trying to capitalize on, I guess.
Did he say he's like one of 8 or like one of 7 or something?
Kids?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I feel
think
like
Octus said something like that. Well, and I also wonder, like, where does he fall in the line? Like, is he the youngest?
Yeah.
Is he the oldest? I don't think so.
I wouldn't think the oldest, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess if he's the youngest, I was thinking why Octus, and like maybe there's something around like our youngest. I guess in like literature, it's usually like your firstborn or your oldest. But yeah, I don't know. So
yeah, he did make some comment about like not when Arnessa's talking to him, and like both of their families have like bloodline sorcery gifts, and he's like, oh, that I didn't get those. Like he didn't get the Taconis gifts.
Yeah.
But she was like, oh, but your little fox guy, and he's like, yeah, I figured that out. So like maybe it's because he's different.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even really understand it yet, but maybe his family does, and they're trying to take advantage of that.
I thought that scene was kind of funny because it was like, you clearly do, though.
Yeah. like you clearly got something.
Yeah. So anyway. Well, that pretty much does it for like all of my like big moments. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
That's pretty much it as well. Just the only other thing was just a quick what do we think the other two groups are going to be now that one has been cemented? And as it stands right now, I could see them being kind of how the characters are currently split up, which would be Julian, Octus, Valus, and Taisha, because they're all the
Mhm.
ones at the Royce estate right now.
Yep.
Which would then leave, and if so, well, I guess it could go either way in terms of if they would be the schemers or the seekers, but then that would leave Azune, Murray, Belair, and Hal. And honestly, that group would be like Hal feels like a schemer to me, but everyone else in that group feels like a seeker because like Murray obviously is the Penteveral, Belair is the museum guy, and Azune is the warden. That feels like a group that would stay in the city, not like for the whole campaign, but like they all have like important jobs. And so like maybe they would be the seekers in terms of like finding out the information and the political side of stuff, and then Julian, Valus, Octus, and Taisha would be the ones venturing out, scheming, as it were. Julian to find answers about his dad. Taisha is the one we know like was the adventurer who had to leave out and go into the world. Maybe they
Yep.
have to flee to protect Octus. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my best bet right now, but we have a whole episode left, so anything could happen, I guess.
I think it makes the most sense for that group that you just mentioned at the Royce Royce estate to leave town, and then Brennan. There's a pretty interesting yeah, here are the 3 locations that the parties are playing out.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening today. Drop a note in the comments about what you thought about the episode and any other theories or thoughts you have about it. Don't forget, we do have the audio available on anywhere you listen to podcasts, and we have our live chat this Thursday, the last episode of the month, episode 4. You are welcome to join us if you're somebody who you like Critical Role. Join us and enjoy the episode with us. But otherwise, I think that'll do it.
Alrighty, y'all. See you next time.